set up a live stream. We have one person. Hello there. Might as well share the back. How do you say? The backstage. Thanks, Ben. Dustin, thank you. Where are you writing from? Given the hour, Guten Morgen, that should be about right in Germany, isn't it? early. Yeah, here in Sydney it's almost 6 p.m. not a.m. So 12 hours now. Do you own any Japanese tools? No problem, no problem. What type of hammer are you looking for? Any specific shape you need? Let me show you a little bit of the progress we're having on this Kanna. Now, if I'm not mistaken, the stone I'm using is a natural Amakusa stone, and they usually compare them to between 500 and 1500 grit. We are sharpening, I think the planer in this case is from Mizuno-san. There's more history about this planer will come up during the event. We're still finishing the preparation for it, but yeah, it's a very nice steel to sharpen. I can tell you that. There's a nice feedback from the stones. Sharpens well. So yeah, interesting. Again, last few days I had a look. All right. A little bit later, I'll actually, let me do this. I'll show you a little bit what the shop is about. As you can tell, there's a few tools around. We're just getting ready for this coming weekend. We have a biannual event on Japanesetools, really, and you could check some of these guys out. They're pretty nice. I have this one in particular. Really good friend in the workshop. 375 grams, I think. This one here works, yeah, really, really well. Mostly by auto. Yeah, that's what I do on the channel as well. I don't know if you're following already, but yeah, for those who don't know, the channel is about restoration of Japanese tools with a little bit of spice in terms of philosophies and concepts behind tool making and how to approach restoration in general. Oh, nice. Thank you, man. Yeah, there is a beautiful thing about Japanese steel, different from our steel. You certainly heard I'm Italian, so yeah, we have some major differences, and Japanese steel is very unique in its form and composition, chemical composition. I'm not sure if many of you know, but there are really a few special elements created by the way they melt and process the iron ore, which creates a unique molecular structure on the steel that with the forging techniques and quenching at certain temperatures results in beautiful steel colors, differentiation, patterns. Yeah. I invite all of you to go on the channel, subscribe and participate on choosing the tool that I will restore during this weekend. I have a post on YouTube for the community and Tools Reborn 92 for Instagram. So go there, vote what tools you would like me to restore during this 2 days event. Yeah, and they seem also more precise in the way they cut, more conservative in the way they wear down. Obviously, they sharp and so on, but the whole combination, the harder steel, thinner shavings, it's a good marker for making a tool like this really long-lasting. Yeah, there's some planers around that are possibly at the end of their life, but they've been working for a good 40, 50 years. So definitely, yeah, they do last an incredibly long time. Yeah, it's hard to recover a Western tool. That's true. I had a few back in Italy with pitting, and it's really hard to recover the pittings of those. They're harder to sharpen. They have a hardened steel throughout the thickness. But you know, usually what I used to see is that they mill the back rather than try to sharpen the back of the blade. They actually put it under a mill and try to grind it. And that's a way, I guess. And that's also one of the advantages of Japanese tools. You have the ura at the back, which for those who don't know is a hollow part that they grind at the back of their chisels and planers. Because as you can see from here, the steel is laminated. There is a thin, hard sheet of harder metal, more compressed, and through a process called uradashi, you can keep the shape of the ura very thin. That's the best result that you can get by tapping the softer metal that bends the harder metal forward, and you can remove a very thin layer of hard metal getting through the pitting if it does pit. Obviously, it's something a bit more common on older tools rather than new one like this one. This one is more a setting up, making it rather straight and sharpened properly. So that is a tool that is in full working condition. They're easier to adjust. Yeah, Western planes are a bit more friendly to adjust in some ways. However, when you get the hand of Japanese planer adjustment, which, you know, I agree with you, it can be quite complex to get perfect. But when you get it, man, it's like, for a woodworkers, it's like living in a dream. It's incredible. The result you can get there is is something that is. I'm not even sure whether we have Western planers that can get to that level of thickness or thinness more than thickness. We're talking about 0.002 millimeters, I think. A couple of microns, kind of, in terms of thickness, is something unbelievable. I'll grab the stone and I'll be back. Look how pretty. Japanese natural stones. If you don't have one, it's incredible. The perfume of clay that comes out of them is something that is just beautiful. Anybody has questions on what I'm doing, Japanese tools in general? Feel free to ask, guys. I'll be happy to answer. Yeah, I feel you. I think I spent probably on the order of 10, 15 years before I managed to to buy my first natural stone. There are some more entry-level ones, but yeah, it's. Can I ask you what is the thing you find most difficult? Is the price, or it has to do also with the choice of it? Where have you been looking at for stones? Do you try to get them from Germany or from Japan itself? Yeah. Yeah, no, I feel you. Is some markets are horrible for import export, and I hope it does get a little better for Europe in that sense, because yeah, they don't make it easy, man. They don't make it easy. We're getting somewhere here. It's probably hard to see. the details of the polishing. You need to work a little bit on the corners. It's a smoothing plane, so the corners go slightly upwards. But yeah, getting there. Yeah, some people, I even heard some people buy bigger stocks to have almost like a monopoly on the natural stones, because many people would like to buy them, but obviously the resource is very limited, and they make it difficult. They really make it in a way that you either pay lots of money to them, not even, and that's a little bit the sad part about it, because it's not even the Japanese importers that behave like that. It's more people from the West, our countries, that sees the opportunity a bit to exploit this resource that obviously it's limited, it's hard to get, but yeah, I guess they don't make it very easy. Yeah, that's it. I heard of dictum before, and look, entry-level stones are good as well. Most of the one I sharpen on are rather affordable. I don't own any, like, seems some ridiculous prices, $2,000 plus. I've none of that, and it's a combination on how you use them and the metal you need to sharpen, because obviously natural stones are I would dare saying only effective on carbon steel. Our Western type of steel in most cases has nickel in it, and nickel make it slide through the stone without letting the silica particles erode on the metal. So it doesn't really sharpen, not effectively. At least look at this beautiful pattern that is being created by the oxidation of the stone. You can see really the work of the blacksmith here. It's fantastic. See, this is one of the reasons because you buy Japanesetools. Yeah, they're impressive. Yeah, that's it. Sometimes, you know, it's good also for practicality, having just a finishing stone rather than the whole series to get down to the right grit. You can use synthetic stones for that matter, but a natural stone finish is something that it's really hard to mimic. And if you're doing the, as you said, the finishing touches, the final polish on the blade, you can get away with a single finishing stone rather than 4, 5, 6. Then slowly you can build up and get there. Yeah, there could be a couple of problems with it. It happened to me a couple of times. Sometimes it's a combination of the hard blade is a bit too stiff, meaning if it's a more entry-level type of planer, the temper, the quenching could harden the front steel and make it too brittle, and also the soft steel might not be necessarily the top quality, and that can create a blade more prone to microchipping or fracture. But if you don't mind, if you have Instagram, you can send me a couple of photos of the blade, and I'd be very happy to look at it. The Instagram is Tools Reborn 92. Yeah, you can look me up and send me a message there. Yeah, you'll be able. We can have a look at it. We can see if there is any visual indicator on the blade, thickness and so on of the hard metal. Yeah, really happy to help if I can. Yeah, yeah. There's a few different aspects in setting them up, because the concept is a little bit different from our Western planes. Now, the steel problem is one, and we can put it aside for a moment. The wood part is what is probably the most different from ours. In terms of all the Stanley, but even going further back, all the wood planers that we used to have, at least they used to be more common. There's still somebody that makes them, but they had a flat sole. Japanese planers, they don't work exactly like that. They have sort of like the blades. They have some areas that are hollowed. Now there is a certain way to set them up. I'm still studying it, to be honest. Every day I learn something more, but in general terms, let me show you on this one. You want the steel to be almost inserted all the way through, just before its cutting position, and at that point you want to flatten completely the base of the planer, and after that scrape, depending on what type of planer you're looking for, whether it's a smoothing planer or a roughing planer. There's different ways to remove certain areas of the wooden block, and we're talking about very, very minimal removal. By doing that, having the iron inside, you keep the tension that the planer holds while cutting, and you remove the right material for when the blade is in position. That creates a body that flexes through the cutting as well. And that, with other specific of the way Japanese planer work, creates this super thin shaving. So it's a combination between steel, wooden block, the way you use it. So there's a lot of skill to learn in one single tool, and yeah, it's a bit of a rabbit hole, but a pretty one at least. Yeah, yeah, it's hard to get it right the first time, the second time, the third time. It's really hard to get it right after several times. I mean, let's start from the concept that before you can consider yourself, decent. In most cases in Japan, you need 5-6 years of doing the same thing over and over again. So for us, that we have a bit of a different mentality. It's a bit difficult to understand that as well sometimes. But yeah, we also have the say practice makes I don't know. In English is different, but you get what I mean. I'll be back in a second, eh? pretty. Travel size. Yeah, that's right. It's something like that. Something like that also in Italian. All right. I think it's almost time to try this planer. Let's see how the sharpening went. I think he's going to be in working condition, possibly 90% the way there. There is a little bit of a corner. Let's see if I can show you up the top here. The very tip, you probably see it now. That needs some tapping, really. But I need to grab my gear for tapping from another place. I don't have it on me at the moment, but that can be easily fixed. Maybe something to do during the weekend as well. All right. Let's go somewhere else. Let's see. How well can you guys see? Yeah, really working well. This is a piece of jacaranda timber. I don't know if you know it. It's originally Brazilian, but a timber present in Australia and South Africa as well. And it cuts very nicely. Let me see if I can find something also fun to try this beauty on. Still needs a little bit of tuning, setting up, but yeah, it's pretty impressive how thin it can get. And all going against the grain. Can I ask you, what do you mean exactly in terms of veneering? You mean like taking out a shaving to like planing the veneer of a panel or something like that? I'd like to understand a little bit better. I do understand now what you get. Yeah, that's the thing. Cutting such thin shavings and to such a precise small level can help bring the veneer together, creating a perfect head joint between the veneers. Yeah. In some places we used to do it by putting the pack together, clamping it on the panel saw, and then cutting it through, which is obviously, you know, you can imagine, not precise to any level of what you're describing. But yeah, I can see your point absolutely. Starting to get to better thickness. All right, I think I'm gonna say goodbye to everybody. If you're around Sydney or you want to watch the event, I'll do a live Saturday and Sunday as well. Probably a series of lives or an all-day live. I'm not sure yet. We'll find a good way that works with also the rest of the team. So yeah, be ready, tune in. and let's have fun. Bye, everybody. Bye, Dustin. Thanks for tuning in. Great chat, and I look forward for the message on Instagram. Pleasure, man. Thank you. Thank you again, and bye-bye.